Good morning, gorgeous people all around the world. It's your girl. Very early in the morning here. In fact, I'm still in my pajamas, but I'm getting ready to we'll go to town today because I gotta do some things and I haven't been in for, actually, no, I did go on in Monday, but I'm going to a different one today. So, getting ready, getting the chickens ready. They are staying home. They are staying home. But Mrs. Fox is around because I could hear her squealing last night. Just when I thought she had gone and she'd found her lover friend and they set off into the sunset, I heard her out squealing last night. She wasn't close by, but she was close enough that I could hear her. And that sound is just very ominous. It's not an ominous sound. I'm just saying that just for fun because she's doing as she does. She's an animal and she's looking for a lover. And hopefully she'll find one so she can disappear from here and stop waking me up at night with that hideous screeching, squealing sound. It's awful. So, the title of my live stream, Overcoming Setbacks and Believing in Yourself. I've had a week, not a week of setbacks, but I've had one big setback. And I want to explain what happened and, how you overcome it. Now, we all have setbacks. We all have challenges. I don't care how close to God you are, or if you're a guru, or if you're superwoman, superman. When you're living on earth, you're going to have the whole spectrum of experience, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. And it's how you get on with it and how you cope with it that's the most important thing, because these things just don't happen for a reason. They are there for your own learning. They're there for you to gauge where other people are at. And that's the thing, a lot of people think, well, I'm living in harmony with my frequency and I feel attuned to my true self. How could I be attracting these things into my life? How could I be attracting bad experiences or real challenging setbacks? And what have I done to do this? Well, you haven't done anything. You've done exactly as you need to. But when you're so attuned, you got to remember there are other people on the planet that are not. And sometimes you have unconsciously decided to volunteer to help another by being a part of their challenges, which become your challenges. And of course, you who is someone attuned and someone that is already in alignment with yourself, you're going to see the situation for what it is and you're going to quickly rectify it, to get back in alignment, to get into balance. Because this is what life is all about. If it was all, or at least it is on earth, if it was all meant to be hunky-dory all the time, where's the contrast to enable us to refine our evolution and our cells and our frequencies? So it's the contrast and the pain and the challenge that gives us what we need in order to gain more experience. And of course, it doesn't feel good when it happens, but when you look back and you look at the way you dealt with that and you think, well, yeah, I feel happy with the way I dealt with it, and maybe not even, but you can see it for what it is, and then you just move on with it, because there is no point dwelling in the past. There is nothing you can do, at least in this day and age on earth, to change it. I mean, if we had access to time travel technology where we could alter our past, then so be it. And I know it is available, but at least it's not in the public domain. So we get on with it, and it's the healthy way to get on with it and reflect back upon it, as to what happened and the lesson within that. So I find that is important for your own development and your own growth. So, this is life on earth. It's full of contrast. It's full of dichotomy. It's full of color. It's color, and it's full of opposites, lights and darks, goods and bads, and we are pedaling through these realms of um, bipolarities, and that's the truth of it, and it's how we deal with it and how we move forward, because we've all been burned, we've all had pain, we've all had setbacks, we've all had, we all know what it feels to have real pain and real love, and the shades in between all of those emotions, um, and we're all made with the same stuff, so we get it. We get it. We know how that feels, but it's how you cope with it, how you move forward from that. Because when you look at nature, when they suffer a loss, like for example, the other week, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I was burning a pile of really bad wood that was rotted with termites, wood that was covered in paint from olden times, and I didn't know what was in it. I didn't want it on my property. So I burned it, and as I was burning, I didn't see that there was a close ant colony, and they were, working at an alarming rate to try and move the colony to other vents and other holes. And so I caused a bit of calamity there for them, but instead of them, like crying and, whoa, my life is so bad, you can see they're trying to rectify the situation straight away. Nature is so resilient at adapting to life, according to what is playing out in their life. So they're so good at adapting to adversity and challenge and setbacks, and that is part of the survival mechanism in nature. An animal injures themselves, they still keep going. You see spiders, spiders are meant to have, what, 8 legs? Sometimes you see them with 3 or 4. So you think in their life, gee, what have they put up with? And yet they still keep going. They still keep going. This is what I'm saying. The more you spend time in nature, you realize how resilient it is. So anyway, let me explain what happened to me. Some of you know, if you follow me at my Elnor Instagram, that I have been up in the desert, and I went up into the desert for an Aboriginal funeral. These funerals can be, whoop, I'm just seeing my light going red. I hope I'm not buzzing out here on my live stream. And I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me? No one has said anything. Yeah? Hi everyone. Hopefully you can hear me. So anyway, I was up in the desert for an Aboriginal funeral, and this means going out in the mountains, out in the lands. I mean, Aboriginal funerals, or like Indigenous funerals, they can be very confronting because they're not like a typical Western, funeral. They can be very confronting because it's so heartfelt, and when they grieve, they really let it out and they wail, and the wailing just sets everybody off, and it's wailing from the depths of their soul, and it can be really confronting for children and adults if they haven't seen it before. But this didn't happen at this funeral. It was really out in the lands, in the Adnyamatna, the land of the Aboriginal people, up where, I was born. Anyway, I stayed out there for a couple of days, and then I came back last Friday. Now, most of you know that I have spent so much time planting all around my entire 2 acres a hedge of saltbush. And I knew prior to me leaving to go up to the desert, there was going to be this big farming golf classic where all these farmers from who knows where come and they play golf. I knew that They were coming, and I asked the greensman, I said, listen, what can I do in order to avoid them not only parking on my property, but running over my saltbush? I said, shall I, put like a streamer with some droppers, some pegs in the ground so they avoid it? And he said, no, that won't be necessary. He said, just put some no parking signs up. I said, okay, I'll make some and put them up. So I did, all along the back of my fence. I came back on Friday afternoon. My stomach fell through my asshole. So I had a look on my back fence. There must have been between 20 to 25 cars parked right up against my back fence. So not only did they squash my saltbush and break my saltbush hedge all along the back line of my fence, they completely disregarded my no parking signs, no respect for my land, no respect for my saltbush. I was burning so bad. I was so angry. I stormed over there. I stormed over to that damn golf clubhouse. No one was in there. There was only 4 people, one guy in the bar, some other guy, and not the greensman, and the wife of the greensman, and another woman. I was so upset. I was so angered. I couldn't even get my words out. I just started crying. I was so upset. And I explained what had happened briefly. I couldn't even get it out. I mean, the person behind the bar was not who I wanted to speak to, first of all, because he's one of these typical old-fashioned farmers that love using chemicals and poisons all over his property. He's been here forever. They're set in their ways, and their way is the highway, according to him, to someone like him. And I had said this was all consulted with prior to me going, and now look what's happened. I said, you've got all this paddock out here on your side to park your fucking farm cars, all your golfing patrons, and they're still parking on my property, despite me having my no parking signs up. And they've run over my saltbush hedge, and I mean, I was so upset. I was so upset. It was just such a disrespect. It's such a small community here, and for these people to see my signs and still park and run over my saltbush, and they weren't even just parked on the side of the road of my property. The bumpers of their cars were right up, almost touching the fronds of my date palms. There is no need for that. There's no need for them to be even parked there. I was so upset. And so this guy had the cheek to say to me, well, what you're doing is highly illegal. Highly illegal? Planting native saltbush before, after I had consulted with my local council to make sure it was okay, and I was well within my rights. Oh, look, I couldn't even bear to be engaged with him for a second more. I just left. I was so upset. And, the most upsetting thing about this is not that they ran over my saltbush and squashed it. I mean, that's upsetting enough. But it's the disregard for me in this community. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's for themselves. And it was just the most disheartening, deflating, disrespectful feeling. I hadn't felt like that for I don't think I've felt like that before. And like a sense of not belonging. That's exactly how it felt. Because he's come around to my place before, parked his car right up with his big trailer full of pink chemical, and asked me if I wanted my entire paddock sprayed with chemicals. Oh, because the prickles and, the caltrop is really bad and you should do this. And I said, no, thank you. And I think ever since then, when I denied his offering to spray my paddock, I feel like he's probably had a thorn in his side because I'm not into what they're into. My approach to farming if you want to call it that, but living on the land is completely different to everything they know. So anyway, I left, ripped my signs off, and then I called the council, and the local man I deal with at the council, he is so reasonable, he's amazing, and he was upset for me. He was upset for me because he knows that it was all done properly. Nothing was illegal about what am I planting marijuana, along the 2 acres? Give me a break. Illegal planting of saltbush, a native plant? Get out of here. I mean, he was just trying to sound authoritative. I mean, he's like 70, it's just these old-fashioned farmers, it's their way or no way at all. And look at me, I come in here completely different from everything they know, even the women. I'm different. I'm very different. And I absolutely understand how my neighbor, Uncle Chop Chop, feels. He's never ever felt a part of this big boys farming club. He's never felt welcomed, and so now I no longer want to be a part of this community. I mean, I've always minded my own business and remained private anyway, but when you come on my property and you do something shitty like that, you're going to know about it, and I'm not going to go quietly about that. I could forgive a kid for doing something like this, but this is an adult. And not only that, so I go out the next morning after they'd all pissed off and finished their yahooing and, craziness, because they were that night. I couldn't even bear to look when they'd all come and congregated in the car park later that night with their cars still up against my fence. I had to go out and water my plants, and I couldn't even bear to look in that direction. So I had my back to them. When I come down the next morning, not only, had they done the damage, they had left all their alcohol cans, squash beer cans on my property where their cars were. There is absolutely no excuse for that. And it just made me want to just hate people. It really did. I felt so much embarrassment and anger and disrespect that it really made me realize my way of living is so different, and my outlook on life is so different from the majority of people in the world. And I'm not talking about you guys who are conscious, because there are so many people, there's so many good people that are conscious people, consciously living, and they're very aware of, their energetic footprint that they're leaving behind. But there are a lot, especially in these small, tight-knit farming communities, that they're so out of sync with the rest of the world, and they don't give a shit. They're lazy. They want immediate accessibility. It's just so. Oh, I've just got no words for it. But it really disheartened me and really soured me, and it really just shows me the level of integrity, the level of thoughtlessness that humans can have for each other. And it was just so upsetting. It was so upsetting, and it makes me want nothing to do with this community. So usually they have a Christmas party at the golf club down there. I won't be going this year. They have a progress association that I am a member of. I won't be going to that this year either. I will be dealing directly with the council from now on. I want nothing to do with these people. And obviously I can't generalize for everybody because there are some fantastic people here, a couple of women, in fact, who are very elderly that I love. And obviously, this doesn't speak for them, but the golf club is a huge part of the community here. And that was like the first question I was asked when I first moved here. Oh, do you play golf? No, sorry, I don't. I have no interest in it. I have no interest in going around a golf course drinking alcohol. You know, it just doesn't interest me. And if that's your thing, okay, great, fantastic. It's just not my thing. And you know, I especially won't be having anything to do with them now. And it's been very challenging. So what do you do? So what did I do the next day? So I fixed my plants. I just, you know, tried to deal with the broken ones and the squash ones, and hopefully I hope their roots are adapted enough now that they can just shoot out new shoots. But I have now put up a small like a barrier line, and in fact I was in the council chambers, I guess you call them. Sorry, that sun's bothering me. I was in the council on Monday morning for about an hour talking to my councillor guy, and they're going to supply me with some fluorescent tape. There's a name for it. Is it bunding? I don't know. They're going to supply me with, I'm just going to try and move forward. They're going to supply me with some of that tape. So, yeah, I really had a tough last Friday afternoon. So I'm saying, you know, like, here's me, you know, talking to you guys about, you know, dealing with challenges and how to be your true self and living your authentic life. But I'm saying me, you know, your girl. I also, whoops, what's happened to my live stream? Am I back? Okay, hope so. I have still had my challenges as well, and it cuts deep for me. This is like salt in a wound, talking about it. But what do? You fix it and you get on with it, just like the ants, just like nature. You just have to. There's no other way. You get on with it. You get on with it. You can't dwell on it. But it doesn't mean I have to have anything to do with them. I don't want to have anything to do with them, and that's fine. You know, good luck to them. All the best to them. With them and their chemicals, fantastic. You know, it just, I don't have to have anything to do with them. It's all about, you know what, let's just say I was to go to this Christmas party later this year. If I went there, it would be fake. It would be a fakeness to me, like me going and putting on a smile, hey, everything's fine. No, it's not. Your behavior, your manner with this thing, when I tried to do the right thing in the beginning, by consulting you and asking you what to do, and then what happened, you know, it's not okay. And I've not had any apology on behalf of the golfing committee. No one's taking responsibility for it. Everyone thinks it's completely fine. Well, you know what? It's not fine. It's not fine, and it doesn't sit well with me. So that's just how it is. I don't want anything to do with them, and that's okay. That's okay. I really kind of want to move. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna put this curtain up here because the sun is bright. So anyway, yeah. Challenges. These challenges happens to the best of us, and you know, what do? You get on with it. You get on with it. That's the only thing you can do. And I'm sure, you know, everyone kind of knows what's happened around here now, and so be it. This is, You know, this is my life out here. I put my heart and soul into this. And I even said this to the guy behind the bar. I just said, you know, oh, what is going on here? Is my live stream good? What is this redness? I said to him behind the bar, I said, you've seen me. I don't know what's happening to my... It's gone red on here. And that's another thing, my internet has been so sucky lately. I have no idea why. It's probably those Elon Musk satellites. I said to him, you've seen me out here working on my own for weeks doing this damn hedge. You've seen me doing this. And you know how much effort I have put into this, and I'm out here on my own doing this. And still you have such a disregard. That's unacceptable. You know, this manner is just unacceptable. Sorry. For me, it's unacceptable. So anyway, yeah. So challenges, they hurt, and they're hard to deal with at the time, and you need to allow yourself to go through the emotions, and so long as it's all authentic and you feel you are within reason, it's healthy. Let them flow. Let those, you don't want to keep your emotions in. And I definitely didn't. I'm passionate about everything I do. Passionately angry, passionately in love, you know, with life. So I'm passionate about everything. I will say, you know, when all this happened, I got the best gift. I'm not going to say your name because I love you and I respect your privacy, but I have to show this. So one of the sweetest people in the world made this beautiful crochet blanket for me. Can you see how big this is? I've had this in my bed, like on top of my bed, keeping me warm, like every night. Detail in this. So somebody made this for me. Like, I can't even imagine how long it must have taken. And it was like the best gift I could have been given at a time like this, you know, like, and when I got it, I just wrapped myself up in it, and I just felt so loved and so appreciated, and it was just the most special thing. And, you know, like every stitch, every knot on the blanket, it just makes me, it was just the perfect thing at the perfect time. And that's what I mean, you know, like, it's like this cycle, and it was when I needed it most, because it was very difficult. And people might be thinking, oh, well, it's just a saltbush hedge, it's just a hedge, you know, plants grow again. But it was more than that for me, and it always is more than that for me. It was the level of disrespect and disregard on my own property, you know, that these people had for me. So it cut deep. It really did cut deep. And I'm all about the detail. And it just shows me how many people around this area are not. They're sloppy, they're lazy, they don't give a damn. They see a no parking sign, they think, well, fuck her. We're going to park here anyway. We've been doing it for 100 years. And they're going to keep doing it. So, dealing with setbacks, overcoming them, believing in yourself, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. And that's all you can do is you keep going. Keep going and look at the lessons in these challenges. And I'm searching for the lessons, and, you know, I try and reflect on it and think, you know, well, what are my lessons in this? You know, not being so trusting in people, thinking people will do the right thing and not run over my saltbush, thinking people will respect me and read my signs. I don't know, you know, I'm still reflecting on that, but it is what it is. Okay, look, I don't know what's happening with this open widget. What does that mean? Open widget. Stream help. Stream status is poor. Oh, fucking hell. You know what? I'm going to call the internet company about this, because this is happening not only in the mornings, but really, really bad at night. I could never do a live stream at night. I'm so sorry about this. Hopefully it's still coming through. Anyway, I just want to see who's here. Hi, everyone. Yeah. Yeah. Am I still here? Hopefully. Oh no. Have I disappeared? Now it's saying it's excellent connection. I don't really know what's happening here. Yeah. Oh, look. It's going red again. I'm not sure what's happening, but look, I feel like it's already been a half an hour, me talking about this. I just want to say that, no matter what your challenge is, no matter the adversity you're faced with, you must believe in yourself. You must believe in yourself when nobody else does. You must believe in yourself as if you're the last person on this planet. You have to be your own best friend. You have to love yourself so unconditionally and believe in everything you do and know what you're doing and your way of living is right. It may not be right for everybody else, but if it's right for you, then that's all that matters. And stand your ground. So even though, you can be an extremely evolved, refined human being on this planet, when you're crossed, when someone or something disrespects you, stand your ground and correct them. Correct their behavior and say, listen, what you did is not right. It's not right. It's not ethical. It's not morally of a sound nature. It's not good. So point that out. And that's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did on Friday. You fix it. You fix it. Don't sweep it under the carpet and think, oh, love and light, love and light. Everyone's on their own journey. Well, they are. But sometimes people, need to be corrected and let known when they are doing the wrong thing or have done the wrong thing. Being authentic is being honest about that, good or bad. And I felt I was well within my right to say to these people or this golfing committee, you absolutely did the wrong thing. I'm not happy with it. I feel completely disrespected. I don't feel a part of this community. I don't feel I'm accepted as myself here. So I absolutely stood my ground with it, and I will to the day I die. It's not, I feel like it's disingenuous for me just to stand back and be okay with it, because it wasn't okay. So believe in yourself, be your authentic self, live a life of altruism, of giving yourself to others, of never compromising on yourself or your dreams, and living the most life that you can, that you believe is correct and right for you. Live in harmony with the earth. You will find, and that's the thing, the more you live in harmony with the earth, you will probably be faced with challenges, because the majority of people are not living in harmony, and they'll either protest about it or just fall off your radar and fall to the wayside. And you'll find that the more you resonate with yourself, those that are not resonating with you will drop away or just disappear altogether. But we're on Earth and we have to move through the motions, and you have to get on with it. You have to keep living in the present, and you have to be the best person that you can be for yourself. Because to live any other way is doing a disservice to your being, to yourself, and to those around you. If you're not living an authentic life, then